The wind howled across the open field, ripping through bare trees and biting against empty sheds. Frost painted the ground in silver streaks as another bitter winter night crept in. Somewhere, in the middle of forgotten farmland where no animals should have been left, a sound rose above the wind, soft, broken, almost too weak to register. It was the sound of a baby donkey, crying alone in the cold, too tired to stand, too hungry to move. The little donkey had no shelter, no hay, and no mother. Just a corner of broken fencing, cracked mud beneath hooves, and a belly that hadn't known food in days. The small frame trembled with every breath, bones visible beneath thinning fur, and eyes wide not with curiosity, but with fear. This wasn't a place anyone came to anymore. The barn nearby had collapsed in on itself seasons ago, and the land had long since been marked abandoned by locals. No one expected life to survive here, let alone begin. And yet, somehow, this baby donkey had been born, and left in silence, left in cold, left to die. But fate is strange. That morning, a farmer named Elijah was driving along the back road near the property, heading home after delivering hay to a neighbor. He wasn't one to take detours. His days were full, his chores endless. But a wrong turn, a moment of distraction, and he passed the crumbled fence line just as the wind dropped for a second. That's when he heard it. A cry. Faint. Raw. Dying. Elijah hit the brakes. He stepped out, scanning the empty land, at first seeing nothing. But then, just near the brush line, something small and brown shifted. A twitch. A flicker of an ear. Elijah jumped the old fence and ran. What he found would haunt him forever. The baby donkey lay collapsed, legs tucked awkwardly, too weak to stand. The fur was matted with ice. The ribs were showing. And yet, the eyes were still open, staring. Alive. Without a second thought, Elijah peeled off his coat, scooped the tiny body into his arms, and whispered, "Not today." The ride back to Elijah's farm felt endless. He turned the truck's heat on full blast and held the donkey close to his chest, rubbing the small ears and whispering reassurances. The donkey didn't move much, just small breaths, shallow and inconsistent. But they were breaths. Back at the farm, Elijah placed the donkey in the straw-lined corner of the warmest stall, fetched blankets, and began the slow, delicate process of rehydration. He called the vet. He called the sanctuary 2 counties over. He called anyone who might help. But mostly, he sat beside the baby all night, keeping the warmth steady, refusing to let the little heart give up. The vet arrived at dawn and shook a head slowly. The donkey, only a few weeks old, was severely malnourished, hypothermic, and had an infected cut along the hind leg. Survival wasn't guaranteed, but Elijah didn't care about odds. He named the donkey Milo, and he promised aloud, "You're home now." Milo's first week was a battle. Feeding had to be done every few hours. Small amounts of warm milk, tiny sips of water. The fever came on hard. The infection threatened the leg. There were nights Elijah thought he was watching Milo fade for good. But then came a flicker. One morning, Elijah walked in and saw Milo upright. Not standing, not strong, but head lifted, eyes alert. A stubbornness behind those eyes that said, "I'm still here." That was the turning point. Recovery was slow. Weeks passed. Milo learned to take steps again, shaky, uncertain but full of effort. Elijah reinforced the fencing, built a smaller paddock, and brought in fresh hay daily. When Milo got his first taste of oats, there was a pause. Then a squeal of joy so loud it echoed across the field. Every little milestone was celebrated. The first full trot, the first bray, the first time Milo leaned into Elijah's chest, not out of weakness, but trust. A bond grew, unspoken, unshakable. Elijah had rescued Milo, but Milo had filled a space in Elijah that no one saw. a quiet grief that lingered after losing his own son years before. The two souls found healing in each other. Milo wasn't just surviving. Milo was thriving. Elijah built a cart so Milo could walk farther without tiring. He brought in goats for companionship. And every morning, as the sun rose over the hill, Milo would run along the fence line, ears perked, tail up, hooves pounding with joy. Word of the rescue spread. The local news ran a story. A photographer captured the moment Milo nuzzled Elijah's beard. People cried watching the footage. Donations poured in. Children drew pictures of Milo and mailed them to the farm. The community fell in love. But no one loved Milo more than Elijah. One evening, months after that freezing morning, a storm rolled in fast. Thunder shook the sky. Rain hammered the earth. Elijah rushed out to check the animals, worried about Milo's reaction, but found the donkey standing proud at the gate, face turned to the wind, braying defiantly. No fear, no weakness, only strength. The animal once discarded, abandoned, and forgotten, now stood tall. Alive, loved. Milo would never be alone again. Today, Milo is a local legend. Visitors stop by just to see the donkey that beat death. Schools use the story as a lesson in kindness. And every time a new baby animal is found, left behind or injured, Elijah's phone rings, because they know he'll help. Because once he stopped for a sound no one else heard. And that made all the difference. If this story moved your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Rescue Animal Tales. Your support helps us share more stories of survival, second chances, and love in its purest form.